Jason Hagholm here, and I am joined by the Devil's Advocate, Mike McAloon.
Mm.
Mike is one of the up-and-coming prospects on the Canadian scene. He fights at featherweight. He's been around for quite a while now, Mike. You started your career in 2014, but, obviously with 2020 being such a weird year, you haven't fought in over a year now. But how's things going, Mike?
Yeah, you know what? By the way, like I just love the way you say my nickname. Like the way you put so much energy into it. It's awesome. Uh, but yeah, no, I've been great. You know what I mean? Like everyone's had the ups and downs for 2020, and everyone's trying to like fit in this sort of gray area. But I think I did a pretty good job at game planning around the restrictions and training and stuff like that. So yeah, like right now, like as you know, and as most people know that are listening, is yeah, Ontario's pretty much shut down at the moment, and it is what it is, right? But no gyms are really open and stuff like that. But here out in BC, Kelowna, luckily the cases have been down, so the restrictions obviously are a little more minimal. And yeah, I've been luckily enough to be training at Tashido MMA out
Yeah,
in Kelowna, BC.
Yeah, so the last time I actually got to speak with you was in person at BTC 6 before your fight against Patrick Connors. But what was the decision to move from Toronto to BC, out to Kelowna?
To be honest, it was I just had a hunch. Like during the summer in Ontario, it was like June, and it was just like it wasn't looking good during the summer. And like luckily, because it was a summer, we could train outside. You could hit the runs. You could, find somewhere on the beach or whatever, or even a park, and at least rip some mitts or some sort of tie pads in the grass or something. Like that was okay. But I just knew kind of how I just kind of guessed that things would get worse come flu season. So I just kind of like decided that like, yeah, I have a friend out here, Paul Fisher, who
Mhm.
also fought on the card.
Yep.
Yeah, he's out here, and yeah, I was talking to him on my birthday, and he was just telling me how it's a good place to come down, and that's exactly what I did. I just kind of took his advice, and at June 24th, I took a plane.
And look at you now. It's working out for you. You're getting some good training in, and you seem to be in a province that, as you said, BC, that's seems like to have a bit of a grasp on COVID, where Ontario and Quebec, it's at its all-time worst right now as we're recording this interview. So,
Yeah,
hopefully, things can get going out in BC.
yeah, I love Toronto. I love Toronto. I love nothing. I love nothing more than. Sorry, I'm just gonna put my phone on silent.
Yeah, no problem.
Uh, yeah, no. Yeah, I love Toronto. I love competing in Toronto. Like you guys put on good shows. Like even the regional shows weren't even getting going until what 2017 we legalized. 2018 we legalized pro MMA in Ontario. Right, so it's generally even a small commission, like small time we've been open, and yeah, we got lots, like you said, we got lots of good guys, and I'd love to fight down there in Toronto again, definitely.
So what have you done to stay active, Mike? Because you haven't fought since September of 2019 for the PFC out in London. And so what have you done to stay active and staying ready? Because obviously you're hopeful that by March of 2021 things can get going again.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. But yeah, basically after PFC, like knock on wood. But yeah, like my two losses have just been decision losses, right? Like like I've managed to like not really understand how exactly some judges score takedowns and some people, like how that works, right? So knowing and understanding, right? It was like the old saying goes, right? Once on me, or shame on me if it happens once, and then if it happens again, well, we got a problem. So after that, I went right, saved up some money, went out to Bali MMA and in Indonesia for uh, all December, all January, and all February. It wasn't until basically Trudeau got on the the CP24 and demanded all of the Canadians to come home, that's when I made the decision to come home. But other than that, before then, I was in Bali MMA, which was a terrific experience. I got lots of Coach Donnie's out there. He runs a mean wrestling practice, so like I just got a lot of wrestling in, and yeah, it was a really humbling and great experience because I was also around guys from the ONE FC. So you dive into that talent pool and you either sink or swim.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. Like, obviously, ONE FC's got a big foothold in Indonesia and that part of the world. You say the wrestling was very intense, but what was the training out there like? That's really cool to go out there and train in Indonesia.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was amazing. It was like the best way I could describe it was like it was like the UN of MMA gyms.
Yeah.
It was like I had people from like Spain, Italy, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the States, Russia, like you name the countries, they probably have gone, trained there, did 2 weeks for vacation, or even some stay a month, a year. They got visas there. It's yeah, it's a crazy, amazing spot. Like it's a good gym, and like anyone that's out in Indonesia, I highly recommend that. Yeah, you give Bali MMA a go because it's a good gym. The weather's nice, and they kill you with a mean workout.
Once COVID's over, do you plan on heading back out there?
Uh, Possibly. Like I'd like to. Like the only problem is, it's just like, to be honest, as a regional show guy, right? It takes time to
Mhm.
go out there, but it also takes time to train for the regional shows. It takes time to get the regional shows going. So it's not like usually I gotta settle into a camp and like kind of go on that path before I can start. Like I'm not at that point in my career yet where I can just start jumping from gym to gym and do camps there. Unfortunately, I'm hoping to get there real soon. But yeah, definitely I want to go out there because they run. It's like 36 degrees Celsius, and they run like wrestling at high noon. It's like, yep, this is as hot as it gets, and we're wrestling. It's like, okay, yeah, it was a great experience though. But I would definitely, yeah, go again for sure.
For a regional guy, Mike, you've had some pretty interesting experiences fighting. Now, obviously, training out in Indonesia, but you started your pro career and finished your amateur career fighting in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago. What was that like?
Yeah.
Because I can't think of a sport that fits the Caribbean culture much like MMA.
Yeah, I did 3 fights out there. It was great. You know what I mean? Like even the last one, right? Even though the decision again didn't go my way, it was great. Like the experience I remember I got headbutt in the hospital I went to had like the hospital had like one flashing light glowing, and it was like, this is cool. And there was like some Resident Evil. Like I went to a Resident Evil hospital. Like I was drinking like beer, getting stitched up. Like it was great. Like it was a great experience, and like it's just one of those ones where it's like those guys all down there. It's just like they're just gonna fight. Like like you said, it's the culture, right? The culture down there. They just go at it, right? So they're highly aggressive in the sport of MMA, and it's great because like they have sambo champions over there. Like it was good. I really liked fighting there.
I
I
know
got
that.
sponsored by Burger King over there. It was great. I got free Whoppers.
See, that's the bonus of it, especially as
Yeah,
a guy making is starting out getting free Whoppers. I mean, that's a
yeah.
win for
I've
someone like
never,
you.
I've never, ever gotten my hands. I had my hands wrapped and still had a Whopper. Like I remember the very first show, I had like hands gauzed and taped. Finished the fight, came over, handed me a Whopper. I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely the early dreams of a fighter right there, getting some free
They
food. And
they give you a free 6-pack too after. They're like, hey man, thanks for coming.
yeah,
Here's your paycheck. Oh, by the way, here's a 6-pack. You're like, what?
that's awesome. Well, I mean, I know that in Jamaica they started some promotions out there, and that's a region see a lot of fighters that have the Jamaican culture in them, and I think that's a spot that once COVID goes away can get going again. It'd be a fun place for someone like you to go. But looking ahead at your career, look, like I said, the regional scene plans on getting going up here in Ontario. I know BC's got some shows with BFL. They just signed with Fight Pass. Same with Unified. Are you hoping to get on any one of those cards, Mike? Because you fought for BTC already, but you seem like you're always interested in new experiences, whether it's Unified or BFL here in Canada.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm open. I'm open for business, man. Like I don't. At this point, it's been a year. I've been training with again these savages over here in Toshido MMA. I just came back from a whole like wrestling experience and diving into like actually how the sport works and how like judges score and like what you need to do to win, right? Like what you need to do, like understanding where you've lost and where you need to win. So it's like these are three. Like if it's a 3 round fight, if it goes a decision, which I really don't want it to, I want to get, like I'd like to get paid by the minute, right? Um, so ideally, yeah, it's 3 rounds. You just break it down, 3 mini fights or 5 mini fights, depending if it's a 15 or 25-minute fight. And yeah, I'm open for business. Ideally, I'd like. I know there's a few. I know there's a few March cards happening with BFL and Ryzen. I did reach out to BFL. Haven't really heard back from them yet. I'm sure they're still working out the kinks with. Again, they have their own issues and own red tape to walk under. So I'm not taking it too personally. And then I also messaged Rise FC, which they potentially might have something for me for the next couple of days, even a week. So.
Oh wow, even getting something that soon in on paper at least right now.
Yeah, on paper, I got like I've gotten a date. Like they want me to do it. I think March 6th, so that'll be interesting, right?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. But I mean, hey, get something in there, and we said at the start of this, like BC seems to have the COVID cases low. Hopefully by March it can be even lower, and
yeah,
these shows can go again because
yeah.
like how have you been able to obviously training's one thing, but you gotta put an income in, and the fighting's nice as well, but you got to stay active and working. Like what have you been able to do to keep the income going?
Yeah, but you know what? Basically, it's just what everybody else does who's at this kind of level, right? And just
Yeah.
like you just kind of sitting there doing a job for the job, right? You don't, like don't get me wrong, like the people I work with are fantastic. I surround myself with, a good work environment, at least I think, right? They're pretty easygoing. But yeah, I'm just with just a cabinet company, right? I'm just basically packing stuff, and it just pays the bills, right? It just gets a steady income in. The nice part is I started at 6:45, end at 3:15, and then like yeah, in the winter you get like 1 or 2 hours of daylight because once the sun hits the mountain, it's kind of the dark out here. But in the summertime, in the spring, you get like anywhere between 5 to 6 hours of daylight, which then like you get to do. Like my favorite thing here so far is mountain running. Mountain running has been uh, super amazing, just because you just go to a next tip and another tip and another tip, and then like you just run down. Right? It's you run up, you run down. It's just the cardio here for that kind of stuff is something I get when I see on Instagram when like all these champions and world champions are running mountains. I'm like, that's gotta be insane. And then you do it here, and you're like, oh, it is insane.
Yeah,
So
you're running the mountains like Rocky and Rocky 4. So getting that
yeah,
all in,
it's
and
exactly it.
trying to become a future champion like him. Hopefully, you don't have to end communism like he did back in Rocky 4. But
Well,
it's
I think his opponent might have been on a little bit of steroids, a
just a tad,
little bit,
just a
a
tad.
little bit
But
of
I
steroids.
mean, what a Christmas
Uh,
hero Rocky Balboa was that Christmas in
oh,
1985. But
that's it. If you can change, then we can change, and
we can all
everybody can
change.
change.
And hopefully we get changes where this COVID ends and you can get on some shows. It's good to hear that you got something potentially lined up with Rise, but I mean, if the opportunity comes, I know BTC would love to have you back. I saw you call your
Yeah,
shot out there for BTC.
that's the thing. Like that's the thing. I was Chile, and like I said, I miss Toronto. I love Toronto. Just as you know, Toronto is in Toronto right now. So
No.
right, so right now I'm I'm in purgatory. I'm good. Like uh, I'm just staying active, staying busy, getting exactly what I can in when I can in, and yeah, if obviously if BTC I'd love to fight for a belt. I've always wanted to fight a 25-minute fight. Like I have I've gone to the distance 3 times in my career, right? Especially my pro career, and Yeah, I'd love a 25-minute fight just to see just to see how much I could stretch myself thin, you know, like I want to like, because as you've watched me fight, I like to be the aggressor, the price, the pusher, right? The trap setter.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy, right? So if I can be that guy for 25 minutes, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I guess, lastly, before we wrap up here, Mike, I mean, a lot of Canadians have had to take fights out stateside. Had that opportunity ever come up for you?
No, I generally just wanted to stick in Canada. Like I trying to just climb that ranking system, right? Like I know like few I guess I can't remember their names, but there are a few Instagram tags and plugs have just put out the Canadian ranking system, and I've noticed that I'm anywhere between 15 and 12 in those lists. So I'm just trying to like, I get that up, like because like when I want to fight, like even though I want to fight nationally, I want to be the best in Canada, and then once I'm in the best in Canada, then I can be the best in the world. Because I want to like not only do I want to be the best in Canada, also when I leave Canada and I want to fight in the States, like I fought in the Caribbean, I want to represent Canada and what we bring.
That's the perfect way to end it there, Mike. Mike, best of luck. Hopefully this thing works out with you for Rise FC and you can get a fight. And
Yeah.
I think it'd just be great to see, you and a bunch of these guys finally get fights back in Canada. And hopefully,
Yeah, like I don't want anyone else to be out of work either.
yeah, I think that's the whole motto right now. Is the whole scene right now seems to be as one, and everyone's rooting each other on to get these shows going on because we know that there's kind of a boom going right now on with some of these up and coming fighters in this country, but they've all right now had to go stateside or internationally, and it's not as it's exciting to see their growth and where like these promotions they came from, but to fight back home in your country is a big part of it, and I miss seeing the scene, whether it's here in Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, British Columbia, where you are. Hopefully, we can get it back in 2021. But before I let you go, Mike, plug yourself out there on social media.
Oh yeah, like I'm Mike McAloon. You can follow me at Mike McAloon, or sorry, at McAloon M145. Jason, it's been a great time. I enjoyed the interview a lot, man. Thanks for having me. And yeah, let me message me on Instagram if BTC's opening up, man. I'd love to get the commission going and like start doing those tests and love to fight for that belt because apparently there's a lot of people out there in Ontario that want me to fight for the belt too.
Well, you know what? We'd love to have you back in Ontario. We just want to see you fight, like I said before, and all these guys fight before. But Mike, it was a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing what 2021 brings for the Devil's Advocate, Mike McAloon.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you very much.